This is about the AMVETS Driver Excellence Competition. AMVETS is American Veterans, and they partnered with Dodge back in, I'm not sure when it started. This was actually in the early 70s. So my experience with it happened, I think, in 1971. I don't recall how I heard about the contest, but basically, if you won the national competition, you got a free Dodge Charger. So I had, I guess I called, or mom and dad called the AMVETS, and they said, well, it's on this date. And I believe it was April 1st because it was snowing when we actually went to do the competition. But a guy named Terry Luttrell from the AMVETS picked me up, and then we went to Fisher and picked up a guy who was 18 years old. I don't remember his name, but you're supposed to only have been driving for a year at the most when you entered the competition. So this guy was 18. I'm sure he'd been probably driving since he was 12. But anyway, we did the competition. He beat me in the local. He went on to win the state, and I don't think he won the national, but I always thought he was a little bit of a ringer because he was older. But anyway, and I always thought maybe I could have won the state if it wasn't for him. But anyway, state prize was $500. So anyway, I missed out on that. But in 1972, the following year, Jeff was in the competition. So I kind of knew what to expect after that. And I trained him fruit punch, the stuff that you buy, the Hawaiian punch. It used to come in these tall metal cans that were probably a half a gallon or something. So anyway, we had my mom save those metal cans, and we peeled the label off and stuff, and we set them up in the parking lot over where it used to be Sunnycrest Mall. So there's a McDonald's over there. There was a Wells department store, I think, at the time, a Walgreens on the corner, a few other businesses. But anyway, it was a sort of one of the earlier big box stores that was in the area. So anyway, we went over there and set up those metal cans in kind of a slalom pattern. So Jeff would practice going through there without hitting the cans, which is actually way harder than you would think. And especially since you can't really see them once they go past the hood. They only stick up maybe 10 inches or something. So anyway, he would practice on those, and then we'd put them real close together, and you'd have to drive between them with only a couple inches clearance on each side and that kind of thing. So anyway, he trained, we'd go over there. We probably trained like 10 different times or something before the contest. And then he did really well in the local, won the state. So he got $500 scholarship. I think the state competition was in Crete, if I remember right. And that's somewhere up north, kind of towards Chicago. And then I want to say the national competition was in Terre Haute. So anyway, the whole family went over to Terre Haute, and he competed. And there was it was a little more than just going through cones at the national competition. They had a thing where you would drive toward these two lanes, and then you'd get a green light and a red light, and you'd have to shoot over to the green side. And then there were a few other sort of challenging events that were different from what than just going through cones in a parking lot. So anyway, as I recall, he missed the green light red light lane change thing. He shot over to the wrong lane, and so he ended up being, I think, 7th or 9th in the national competition, which was still pretty good. And he always was a really good driver. But anyway, that was our experience with the AMVETS AMVETS Dodge Driver Excellence Competition. So neither of us ever won a free Dodge Charger. But I guess another sort of interesting point was at that time, the Dodge dealer was Shelby's, and still is to this day, but they were located over on Neal Street, kind of between Green and Springfield on the east side of the street. So that now I think is like the Aero Ambulance or Pro Ambulance. That's where they're based out of. So it's an older brick building, but it was a car dealer at the time, and you could go over there, and they would basically just lend you a car to go out and practice in. So we got a good feel for driving the Charger. I think what they gave us was a 72 Charger. The one we usually drove was kind of a light blue color and had a 318 engine, so it wasn't a crazy supercar or anything, but it was kind of fun to get that. I actually looked up the competition a few years ago, a couple of years ago, to see if they were still doing it because Danny is going to be 16 here in a couple, 3 years. And what I found, I think the competition was discontinued at some point because uh, one of the kids that got the free car had gone out and been in a horrific accident, and can't remember if they were killed or some other people were killed, but there were some fatalities, at least a fatality involved. So I think they kind of discontinued the competition after that. So anyway, that's my story.